Hi, welcome back to Heaven Bound Teachings. If you're new here, then welcome. I am just a servant of YAH, trying to be obedient. So if you've seen my last video, you'll know that basically I got badded up into starting this channel, and it took the Lord giving me some scary words, what I would consider a scary word, like the Lord telling me that he won't hear my prayers and that my hands will be full of blood for not giving his word. That caused me to just get up and start this YouTube channel. Cool, bearing in mind it's a YouTube channel, like the Lord has told me to start a channel. He didn't say post one video and go about your business for 3 weeks, which is obviously what I've done. So yeah, it just goes to show, like, the word that I gave is so real. Like, man's heart is continuously unto evil. My heart is continuously unto evil because it sat well with me to just try and be like, yeah, right, like, blood can't be on my hands now because I've done this, like, I've started, so at least, do you know what I mean? But no. God bless each and every person who watched the video, shared it, liked, comment, just let me know that you was enjoying it and stuff like that. Yeah, it's really great because it was more than I expected, so yeah. And what's so funny, yeah, is like, you see how the Lord will be saying something, but then he'll allow everyone on the outside to confirm it, like, without even, cool. So I've made the video and all everyone is saying to me is like, yeah, when's the next one? Can't wait for the next one, next one, next one, next one. And I'm like, yeah, next one, because me and the enemy have already decided, like, yeah, you've started this thing now, innit? So blood can't be on your hands anymore. Big lie, do you know what I mean? So it just shows like, if the Lord didn't bad me up, I probably still wouldn't have been here. If I didn't get that word, like, it's just a bit sad to know that it takes the Lord telling me that he won't hear my prayers for me to actually move and get up and start this YouTube channel. Like, it's disappointing. And once again, I've just come through again with disobedience, like taking long, dragging my feet to do this word. But yeah, it's great because I'm here and it's much easier now. Cool. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. So cool. So a week's gone by, still haven't started the video. And like, let's say now on the 3rd week, I'm about to make the video. Boom, my voice is gone. Like, even now you can still kind of hear I'm recovering, innit? I've never lost my voice the way I lost it, like, last week. Like, I've never been speaking and no words were coming out. Like, there'll be times where I'm speaking and then boom, silence, like, gone, voice is gone. That for me was just like, yeah, cool. So I allowed the enemy in through conversing with him and saying that, yeah, and you've started, like, you don't need to, like, it's cool now, there's no blood on your hands, sort of thing. So it's like, through disobedience, then I opened up that door for the enemy to come in and attack my health. Cool, the enemy's giving me the sickness for me to try and delay even longer, to be like, oh yeah, like, my voice is gone, so now I can't even try and film even if I wanted to. Which I still could have, to be honest, my voice just would have been extra dry. So I've been led by the Spirit of YAH to do a series on the men of God, and particularly focusing on where they fell short. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 3, it says, sorrow is better than laughter, for by a sad countenance the heart is made better. Through sorrow we consider, like, the seriousness of life and how important it is to serve the Lord and be obedient and pleasing in his sight. So by looking at what causes sorrow in the lives of these men of YAH, by YAH's grace and mercy, it won't be for lack of knowledge that we fall short through any of these things, but by looking at these men and using them as an example to learn from. In this series about the men of YAH, we're going to be starting with Noah. And Noah is such an interesting story for so many reasons, and especially when we consider scriptures such as Matthew chapter 24 verse 37, which says, but as the days of Noah were, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. For as the days in before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark, and did not know until the flood came and took them all away. So also will the coming of the Son of Man be. This is why it's very interesting that we look at what happened in the days of Noah, because the Lord is saying that this is what the latter days that we're living in now will be like. So we're starting from Genesis chapter 6. So this is sort of just setting the scene of about, like, where Noah comes about and stuff like that. Now it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves of all whom they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not strive with man forever, for he is indeed flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. Then the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great on the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And the Lord was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and he was grieved in his heart. So the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, creeping thing, and birds of the air, for I am sorry that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. 6:2 says, the sons of God saw the daughters of men. We know throughout the Bible, the sons of God are angels, and the sons of men are obviously flesh. So the Lord has said that all flesh was corrupt, and this is why he was going to destroy it. And this was because of the likes of these fallen angels who were supposed to be angels, but departed from goodness and decided to go after these women on the earth and make wives to themselves and produce offspring with them, which would have been what is called the Nephilim. Angelic hybrids between sons of God and sons of men. Because obviously they were superhuman, half angel, half human, they would have been great beings on the earth. They would have been great in size and had power and all sorts of things, which is why they're known as the men of renown, because the men on the earth at that time would have given them reverence and been like in awe of these people. So yeah, these fallen angels taught humans a whole bunch of sinful practices that are still here today, including how to work with metals and produce weapons, how to read stars and the signs of the moon, which is astrology, and incantations and magical medicines, all these different things. This is what these fallen angels were teaching, this knowledge, which is why, once again, men fell for trying to obtain this knowledge. This was where the original sin comes from. This is how we get stories like David and Goliath. There's no need for them to procreate because they literally don't die, they're immortal. Whereas obviously we're flesh, so we need to reproduce in order to survive. This was just that greed coming from these angels and lusting after what they couldn't have, which was like relations and these sort of things. Instead of watching over the men, watchmen, this is what they were supposed to be doing, they ended up, taking wives for themselves. So if we read from verse 9 now. This is the genealogy of Noah. Noah was a just man, perfect in his generations. Noah walked with God, and Noah begot 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. So God looked upon the earth, and indeed it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way on the earth. So these fallen angels were the reason for the abundance of violence that was on the earth, and this knowledge that they were giving to humans, teaching them how to ultimately destroy themselves and depart from the things of God, just like the days that we're in now. There was genetic manipulation that was happening, and it says, for all flesh had corrupted their way on the earth. So we have the contamination of flesh with these angelic beings, and then flesh being corrupted in general. So after the Lord has decided that he is going to destroy the world, he has told Noah to prepare himself for ark, in which he did. Chapter 6 verse 22, it says, thus Noah did according to all that God commanded him. So he did. So Noah was obedient in that sense. It seems like a small thing, but it would have taken a good little while to build an ark, and that just shows the sort of faith that Noah had in the Lord. Because maybe if the Lord was telling some of us, like, go and build an ark, and it's taking years, and you're thinking, bro, like, where's this flood? But Noah was obedient and he had faith. I just want to touch on like the things that I think is quite like cute, and not cute, but like, so after the flood, the Lord has gathered Noah and his children, and in Genesis 9 from about verse 12, he says to them that never again will all flesh be cut off from the waters of the flood. The reminder of that is him setting his rainbow in the clouds. So after every time it rains, there's a rainbow. And I thought this was so amazing when I learned this, because I don't know, I just didn't know what the rainbow was for. Like, I knew it came after rain and stuff, but I was like, okay, what is this? And then when you read and see in the Bible, and I've been taught that it's the covenant between YAH and his people, that never again would he destroy all of us through water. It's just crazy to see how they manipulate and turn everything upside down. Like, now the rainbow is to, well, it's not for that, but this is what it is widely used for. Is to symbolize a specific range of sexual orientations, which once again go against the word of God and creation and these things. Now the sons of Noah who went out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and Ham was the father of Canaan. These 3 were the sons of Noah, and from these the whole earth was populated. And Noah began to be a farmer, and he planted a vineyard. Then he drank of the wine and was drunk, and became uncovered in his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brothers outside. But Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it on both their shoulders, and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father. Their faces were turned away, and they did not see their father's nakedness. So Noah awoke from his wine, and knew what his younger son had done to him. Then he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants, he shall be to his brethren. And he said, Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem, and may Canaan be his servant. May God enlarge Japheth, and may he dwell in the tents of Shem, and may Canaan be his servant. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years. So all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. So I love the Bible because the way it does things, at the beginning when it's listing Noah's sons, it makes a particular mention of who Ham was. It says, and Ham was the father of Canaan. So from here already, we can tell that there's something important, something that the Bible is trying to highlight to us about this particular son. It says that Noah began to be a farmer, and of the many things that he perhaps sort of planted in this new regeneration of the earth, there's mention of a vineyard. From this we can tell that Noah was quite fond of drink. So this is the first mention of drunkenness in the Bible, and being drunk, the repercussions wasn't good, and it wasn't a fruitful event for Noah. So at first glance, when we read and see about Noah becoming uncovered in his tent, and about his son Ham seeing his nakedness, it just seems sort of more innocent, like, oh, he just saw the nakedness of his father because he was in his tent. But when we read Leviticus 18 from about verse 6, it's talking about the laws of sexual morality, and it says, None of you shall approach anyone who is near of kin to him to uncover his nakedness. I am the Lord. The nakedness of your father or the nakedness of your mother you shall not uncover. She is your mother, you shall not uncover her nakedness. It's just speaking about uncovering and seeing the nakedness. But over here, it's just talking about sexual relations with your mother and these sort of things. And now when I look at it, it's so interesting because there's specific things in the Bible that the oppressor or that the enemy always tries to force upon people. So for example, where the word MFer comes from, it comes from them literally forcing slaves to sleep with their mother and being an MFer. That's where it comes from. So it's like they literally look at the laws of the Bible and say, hey, do this, to just go against it. Well, that's the enemy, innit? So yeah, now when we see that Ham saw his father's nakedness and him being uncovered in the tent, we're able to understand that it was Ham sexually abusing his father. And this is why Noah goes on. So Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done to him. Then he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants, he shall be to his brethren. So Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done to him. So this just further solidifies the fact that it was much more than just Ham previewing his father's naked body, because if that was the case, Noah wouldn't wake up and know what his son had done to him. So the word alcohol actually stems from Arabic, which is alcohol, which literally means body-eating spirits. When we allow ourselves to be overcome by these spirits, they're literally called spirits, the strongest alcohols are called spirits. Alcohol is a depressant, and it loosens people because it depresses their spirit, which is their self-control, their balance, their wisdom, all these sort of things, and allows these other spirits to take over and take control of their vessel. So when we allow ourselves to be filled with the Holy Spirit, it's a completely opposite feeling to being suppressed and oppressed by alcohol, but it allows you to increase in every area of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. He's a stimulant, and he allows every part of our being to do better, to be perfected through his spirit. In terms of going back to Noah and his son, alcohol, even today, is a common denominator in sexual abuse. In the Proverbs, it tells us that wine is a mocker, and whoever is led astray by him is not wise. And that's why whenever we're drunk, we tend to have those moments that we'll look at and just feel so ashamed by, because there's no wisdom in those actions. Do you know what I mean? Where your spirit is not able to function in the way that it should. So yeah, Noah's own shameful sins allow us to see the foolishness of drunkenness and not want to fall into that same sort of trap where others can take advantage of us because we're not who we're supposed to be. Our spirit isn't strengthened, it's being depressed and suppressed. So other spirits are able to come in and fill us up and control us, which some people look forward to because their spirit alone is like what the Lord has placed within them won't allow them to literally do these things, which is why people talk about that alcohol confidence. But it tends to be confidence to do the things that are ungodly, like, you know. So yeah, what can we take from this is looking at Noah, in the days of Noah, how Noah fell short through his own shameful sin and allowed shame to be placed upon him, basically. Becoming drunk to the point where he was able to be taken advantage of. So let that not be our portion. Let us not consume these spirits and these sort of substances that cause us to not be who the Lord wants us to be. I mean, everything in moderation is fine. So like the Bible speaks about drinking wine, but not to the point where we're drunk and becoming uncovered in our tents, you know what I mean? So yeah. Also, in terms of all flesh being corrupt, by God's grace and mercy, that each and every one of us are allowing our flesh to remain as the Lord intended, not allowing man to corrupt our flesh with knowledge from these fallen angels. So I hope that this video was informative, that it was eye-opening again, and by God's grace and mercy, let his wisdom, knowledge and understanding just go before you and receive it in Yeshua's mighty name. I pray that whatever the Lord wanted you to hear, that you heard it and was able to receive it. But yeah, by God's grace and mercy, I will just be obedient. We will be obedient so that we can be on the right side in these last days and not... Listen, if we're not on the right side, we're finished. That's it. If you're not serving the Lord and trying to get closer to the Lord in these times, then you just have no hope. There's no chance. But YAH is great and his ears are still open for those who want to call upon him in it. But there will be a time where the Lord's ears are closed. So I just pray that in this time where he's still able to hear us, that we will get on that right side. YAH bless each and every one of you. Amen.